All right, hey folks, how are we doing? Welcome back to the Bocce Piles channel. And it's Monday, and you know what that means. We're jamming some rhinos. So, yes, last time we took a loss to Blue-Black Reanimator, and most of the losses I have online are to Blue-Black Reanimator. So I've been trying to figure out a strat that might have some kind of game plan against that deck. And so our game plan is the Mighty Uro. So this is usually 2 Murktide Regents in the Uro slot here. So what I've done is I've cut the 2 Murktide Regents, a Simian Spirit Guide to make room for 3 Uros. And I've also cut a Wasteland from the traditional mana base for another Wooded Foothills to make the double blue, double green escape cost more practical, which also I think improves the value of Blood Moon in the sideboard. Because getting that basic forest, if we turn one Blood Moon, it's hard to get the forest if you don't have it already. Although you could always draw an Elvish Spirit Guide for green mana. So against Blue-Black Reanimator. So this is the sideboard plan that I cooked up. So the thing about not boarding in Inevitable Betrayal is your opponent will probably recognize that and board, keep their Entomb and Atraxa / Archon of Cruelty package in, which can be hard to answer. I mean, we'll have Endurance and Force of Will, but they can sometimes sneak it through. Well, they often do. And so the plan here is to board out a Crashing Footfalls and bring in the Inevitable Betrayals. And then we're boarding out a couple of Violent Outbursts also, just because I don't think the Cascade plan is that great. And so we're going to just lean on Uro here. Boarding out some Cascaders may seem sus, and maybe it is. It's just a question of what you want to board out. Just a lot of the times you just cascade into Crashing Footfalls and they have engineered explosives, or they just reanimate something. And then if you cascade into Inevitable Betrayal, you could steal their Barrowglyph, but then they can just Brazen Borrower it back to their hand. Usually, they play a bunch of Brazen Borrowers to deal with various problems post-board. And then there's always Consign to Memory to counter the whole Cascade trigger. And so either way, I don't think cascading is that great. What we want to do, the only things that in their deck that matter are basically Barrowglyph and their Entomb Reanimation package. So we're going to kind of have the Entomb Reanimation package thing covered with the Inevitable Betrayals. And then Barrowglyph, we're going to be trying to Dismember / go over the top with Uro. And the thing about Murktide Regent is it doesn't even race like a 4/5 Barrowglyph, because they're swinging for 8 and you're swinging for 7 probably, if it's a max size Murktide. And Uro, it is a little not tempo-y. I guess it's the antithesis of tempo, to play this and have it not advance your board state when you play it for 3 mana. But it's also pretty powerful, and your opponent's likely to burn a bunch of resources dealing with our rhinos, and then this thing can come up and just absolutely dominate the board. So, yeah, this is, we'll see how this works here. All right, let's do it. All right, it's palindromic time. Our round 1 opponent. We did, in fact, win the die roll. This hand... Well, it has an Uro. We can suspend Crashing Footfalls on turn 2. But I guess this hand doesn't really do much. It's not a great Uro hand. I think we can probably do better than this. If there was a way to suspend on turn 1, I would probably keep. But we can't. I guess maybe I could have exiled the Simian, the Elvish Spirit Guide. Maybe that was worth thinking about doing there. In any case, All right. Well, this hand is a little land light, but I think I'm kind of having to keep this. At least we got a bunch of Force of Wills. We're just going to be trying to use our Surveil land to hit mana sources. The old basic island to pass from the opponent here. All right, well, I guess I'm going to get my Hedge Maze and hope not to get stifled. We faded Stifle. Shardless Agent is not a land. Well, there's a Simian Spirit Guide. So we just are a mana shy here. It looks like we may be up against the old blue-black Reanimator. All right, it looks like we probably are. So they cracked their Polluted Delta. They're going to Thoughtseize. We at least have double force here. So we got that going on. They take the Shardless Agent. That's cool. Lorien Revealed. That's not a bad one. So we can get the Thundering Falls here. A Fire and Ice. It is not a land, and that's all I really want right now. All right, we pass into the opponent's turn, and they are brainstorming. They Misty Rainforest and pass. Cool. Maybe I could have played out the Uro there. If nothing happens on this turn, I'll definitely do it. An Orcish Bowmasters. Well, that doesn't really do anything. I guess it is kind of a thing against my Uro. So maybe it's some kind of bug tempo over there. My initial hand would have been pretty good against this. Maybe that first hand was just to keep, and I got a little ahead of myself. Cool, here's a land. So do I want to Bowmaster and grow their token? I can always just petty theft it. So I think it's okay. Of course, I'll need a green mana to summon the Mighty Uro here. All right, here we go. It's a second Bowmaster from the opponent. I guess I'm going to force like a second Bowmaster. Okay, Bowmaster number 2 appears to be forced. All right, so they get a trigger here, but we also gain 3 life. There's another Uro. A blue card is not terrible. We can pitch it to force. And still be able to petty theft this Orc Army token if it gets out of control. Another Thoughtseize. So I gotta think this is not a Reanimator deck at this point. Just with the main deck Bowmasters. I suppose it could be with like a green splash. They did take my Force of Will, so it's shields down. If I burned a Force of Will on their Bowmaster and they're actually reanimating, I suppose it's bad news. I think they're doing a Murktide Regent here. Yup. It's just a 4/4. So they're thinking about what'll happen if I petty theft this thing, keeping their graveyard as full as possible. A Violent Outburst. That's not a bad one. Should I just do this right now then? I think so, while they're tapped out. Okay. Here we go, tapping the correct mana. Cool, here's a Crashing Footfalls. It looks like it's in. So our board position looks pretty good here. And the Murktide Regent further suggests this is not Reanimator. So, like if we get to Petty Theft next turn, a long goodbye, that kind of trade I'm fine with. If we get to like petty theft the Murktide Regent, or if I just get to bring back Uro at some point here. Shardless Agent. Well, that's not a bad one either. I guess I'm going to attack. So I guess it's worth noting that if I was playing Murktide Regent, it probably would be better than the Mighty Uro here. So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Do we have a force? We do. But we do, they can't attack with both their Bowmaster and the Murktide Regent, so we have a bunch of good draws here. So I will trade with the 2/2. A Violent Outburst. Let's see. So the thing I'm worried about here is like a second Murktide Regent to grow the first Murktide Regent and get them over the top. So I guess I'm going to attack with a Rhino. And like hope they don't draw Force of Will. Like if they play a second Murktide, it's going to be pre-combat, and then I'll know I need to petty theft. But if they go into their attack step, I will Violent Outburst. They're doing something here. So it is the Murktide Regent. Yes, I do have to spend my mana petty thefting this thing to stay alive. So we'll do that. They get to chip for 1. And now we need to draw something. A Simian Spirit Guide. What does this do? Well, we need to chump block this Murktide Regent. We're drawing all the wrong Spirit Guides. It's okay. All right, so yeah, we can't attack into their 8/8. But we're going to play this Brazen Borrower in their upkeep and try not to lose to a removal spell. Yeah, I don't see using Simian Spirit Guide to play the Brazen Borrower doesn't do anything there. So do they have a removal spell for my Brazen Borrower is the big question here. No, we're going to chump block. That seems good for me. Another Violent Outburst. I guess we're just going to lose. That's a bummer. Yeah, I can play an Uro here. But yeah, we just bricked on land every turn, but maybe they don't block here. They do block. Yeah, so they'll take 3, and man, if I just had almost anything, it would be quite good. I guess what I can do is play the Uro post-combat, and then I can lose. Because this will put me up to 8, and I just don't think... yeah, I guess I'm going to... Okay, yeah, so we can Uro here and hit Brazen Borrower is what we can do. Or Ice. A land. Man, that is so close. If only that had happened, like, a lot sooner. but it did not. So yeah, I can Violent Outburst again, but I think we used all our rhinos. Yeah, this is a sad ending, but all right, cool, they got it. All right, here's the sideboarding I cooked up. I'm just gonna trim on Brazen Borrower, Uro, Violent Outburst, and Fire and Ice. I'm sure they'll be having Consigned to Memories, and then we'll want Dismember, Endurance, and Mystical Dispute here. Maybe Fire and Ice is a little underwhelming, and I'll keep an Uro here. The Uro was almost good. All right, cool. This is a keeper. Yeah, so we can just basic forest, suspend Crashing Footfalls here. All right, it's a polluted Delta from the opponent. All right, they're gonna Thoughtseize, so I'm sure they'll take Shardless Agent. And then we can just Lorien Revealed for a Thundering Falls and set up our draws unless we hit something good right now. Wasteland. Well, Wastelanding in this spot when we're suspending Crashing Footfalls and can Lorien Revealed in their end step is really good. The Undercity Sewers, cool. I'll take the opportunity to get my Thundering Falls. All right, Rhinos tick down to 2. At least it's a card that does something. I'm not too upset. A Taiga. Not really what I want right now. So I'll probably just grab the Hedge Maze in their end step and keep digging. A basic forest. Oh, up the beanstalk. I guess, if I had known that this was what was going on, I would have brought in the Blood Moons. But I suppose it makes sense now that it is the Bug Beanstalk. So I hope to draw something good here. And we are not drawing anything at all. So they can probably just force our Crashing Footfalls, and we're going to be in an awkward spot. It's a shame we lost game 1. They are low on mana, it seems, though. Do I just, like, petty theft the up the beanstalk right now? I guess not. I think I just didn't cast it. Well, that's a sad misclick. I don't know how I did that. But, okay. At least we have Uro here. All right, more land. Just what I wanted. A Snapcaster Mage, cool. So they target their Brainstorm, but they just have a 2/1 in play, so. I guess I'm not gonna crack this Wooded Foothills. If I get hit by Wasteland or something. Shardless Agent. Well, let's try the Uro here and see what happens. This is what we came to do, was play Uros. So let us Uro. And it's just in. Cool. Well, I wish I had not clicked no. I don't think I've ever done that misclick before. What do we got? A long goodbye. Cool. Okay. Well, while they're tapped out here, what we can do is jam this Shardless Agent, so that's pretty good for us. And we're playing around both Daze and Consigned to Memory. And this also helps us reload for Uro. There's the Force of Will pitching the Murktide Regent. And now we are just pretty close to getting to play Uro again. Opponent hits land at number 3. A 3-mana play. What could it be? Is he going to exile my Uro somehow? Oh, it's like it's a Murktide Regent. Cool. Well, that's good with their Beanstalk, but we can petty theft it. So it's a 5/5. Wow, they're attacking. Well, my misplay was worse, but this just lets me grow my Uro. So I'm pretty okay with this. A Lorien Revealed. That is not bad either. I think I have to jam the Uro, though, while the getting is good. I don't know, it has to be so small. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Get in there, Uro. All right, it's another Force of Will from the opponent. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just try to land this petty theft right now. So they get to play the Murktide again, but it does tap them out. And we save 5 life, and that gives us an opportunity to play this Lorien Revealed. All right, so they play a Polluted Delta and crack it. And they have another up the Beanstalk. Well, that's going to be good for them. Cool. They're going to draw a bunch of cards. This is a pretty savage Murktide Regent. Good news is we have a high life total and some not terrible cards of our own. If this Lorien Revealed doesn't get countered, it'll be good news. All right, these are some cards that I can roll with. A Brainstorm from the opponent. They crack a Misty, a Ponder, and it looks like it's going to be another Murktide Regent. Cool, so they're drawing some cards. Their first Murktide's up to an 8/8. Second Murktide is a 5/5. Well, we have this Violent Outburst and Ice. So those are good things. Ooh, and a Brazen Borrower. Cool. What do I want to do? I think I want to kick it off with Violent Outburst. And see if this is getting Force of Willed or what. Okay. And then we can petty theft the big Murktide. And they are at a relatively low life total. So maybe like by Ice and Endurance here, we can make some magic happen. A Brainstorm. All right, they have a long goodbye for a Rhino token. That makes sense. They are going to swing for 5 in the sky. We're down to 9. Okay, they pass it on a back. Okay. All right, well, I'll try to get in for 4. The thing about Enduring is it does grow my opponent's Murktide Regent. But I guess I'm going to start by trying to Ice on their upkeep. What's this on my end step here for 3 mana? A Murderous Cut. Okay. So that grows their Murktide Regent. But I can still ice it on their upkeep. And this is gonna pull them, move them further away from a second Murktide Regent. So I guess I think I'm gonna crack this Misty here and get a Volcanic Island, and then ice this Murktide Regent. Okay, that happens. So they can just kind of proceed with their turn. That's fine. It looks like they just tried to play a Murktide Regent there, but they don't have enough. So we're going to play a Brazen Borrower in their end step. Man, and Magic Online is not working very well. It is quite laggy, but we still have plenty of time on the clock. All right, so we're in with a Brazen Borrower. Under here's an Orcish Bowmaster. Okay. Well, we're going to kind of want to fire the Orcish Bowmaster. Or maybe I can ignore it. Brazen Borrower. That's like a really good draw. So I have 7 mana. So Uro is 4. I guess what I can do is fire the Orcish Bowmaster, Petty Theft the Murktide Regent, and like play Endurance. I don't know how. That is 7 mana, so that is like a thing we can do. Here's a Petty Theft. I need to tap differently than this. No, there's still a Tropical Island left in my deck, so this is fine. Well, I can just tap like, I'm not using any more red mana this turn. Is this gonna garner a Force of Will? It is not. Okay. And then I can get my Tropical Island. Here's the Endurance. Okay, that'll slow down. I know my opponent at least has like a couple Murktides in hand. So we're hanging in there. Oh, but they can consign to memory it. Okay. Well, at least this thing can chump block a Murktide Regent. Yeah, they get some more Beanstalk triggers here off the Murktide Regent. It's only a 6/6 for now. That's cool. It seems like maybe my opponent's running out of gas. Like, they're not answering my Endurance here. So I like that. Maybe they have a handful of Thoughtseizes is what's going on. In any case, it is time to bring back the Uro. I think I'm just out of, like, fetchable lands in the deck. Here we go. Come on, Magic Online. You can do it. So I'm just going to not exile the Crashing Footfalls. Here we go. Is this going to eat a Force of Will? It is. All right, cool. Well, we do have Brazen Borrowers. I suppose that is a better card to chump with than Endurance, because it doesn't eat it to, well, Endurance doesn't eat it to Orcish Bowmaster, so it looks like they are coming in for an attack. I guess I'm just gonna chump And we're trying to like redeploy Uro again next turn. Come on, Magic Online. Oh, geez. It's laggy out there, folks. It's laggy. Here's the Orcish Bowmaster. So they are just going to pick it off here. And I guess this means I have to chump block with my Endurance. But at least it's another card in my graveyard. But if I don't chump block there, I go to 1. And then when I redeploy the Uro, I take it on the chin there. So what are we drawing? Shardless Agent. Not a bad one, I believe. Okay. Well, yeah, let's get in there with Uro. Yeah, I guess I'm going to not crack my Wooded Foothills. Come on, Magic Online. We can do it. And this is grueling. But here's the Uro. Yes, we'll put our triggers on the stack. A consigned memory. Okay. That's not, see, I'm glad they used the consigned memory there. And, okay, they're just using up consigns. That's awesome. Well, if they don't have like another Bowmaster, then I think we're in not bad shape. Maybe oh, okay, I am out of Crashing Footfalls. Bummer. Well, that maybe we're not in good shape then, because they can attack here. Now I can't attack with my Uro. Unless I rip an answer for this Orcish Bowmaster. Okay. Yeah, they're not going to attack with any of their boys. Cool. So I go to 1. Yeah, I don't know. I need to draw like a Fire and Ice right here. I've used several. Another up the Beanstalk. And another Murktide Regent. Cool. That'll be tough to beat. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what we could do here, but we're gonna try. All right, a land. Well, that doesn't really do it. And this thing's like an 8/8. Yeah. I think if I attack with the Uro, I do get a draw trigger before I take the damage from the Orcish Bowmaster. Yeah, I do. So that is something. But I just drew I drew a Force of Will, which is not going to do it here, sadly. And there's no way I can get my opponent to deck themselves. And they can just attack in the sky, so it's going to do it. All right. Well, that was a wretched first match. So, yeah, we're going to try to do better this time. Yep. All right. Let's keep. Bayou. A Dark Ritual. I could Force of Negation this. I guess I'm not going to. A Cabal Ritual. All right. I think I am going to Force of Negation this one. And just pitch my Brazen Borrower and hope that this leaves them stranded. All right, cool. They're passing the turn. A Force of Will. Okay, so there was some question about whether I wanted to Wasteland them there. Now that I've drawn Force of Will, I think it's easy to not force. But I'll go ahead and get a Thundering Falls here. Nice red source. I'm sure the opponent's not playing Wasteland. Do I want to deploy this Shardless Agent next turn? I guess I don't see why I would not want that. Cool. We have 10 power in play. Ancient Cellarspawn. Each spell that's a demon or horror costs 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast it was less than the mana value, target opponent loses I think I'm supposed to force this thing. I think there's some kind of crazy thing you can be doing with this, and I don't want to find out what it is. So hopefully that sets them back here. Another Shardless Agent. As much as I would like to put another 10 power on the board, I think that the 10 power we have is sufficient to kill them. So here's a Wasteland, and we'll pass it on back. A Nourishing Shoal to gain 12. Cool. What do we exile? Yeah, I don't know if this is some kind of crazy Lich deck or something. But I think they're playing Soul Spikes or something. Well, the 10 power we have is no longer sufficient to kill them, but we might be losing if they had 3 mana also. And they're going to be dead soon enough. All right, they just pass it back. Okay, so we got them here with a Violent Outburst, so that's cool. This will be an attack for 13. Barring some unforeseen event. Cool. So I don't know how to sideboard against this crazy deck. I can't imagine. Probably just sideboarding nothing. I don't know if it like plays Necrodominance maybe. And I want these Force of Vigors. Or maybe these Blood Moons. They did look susceptible to Blood Moon. I think I'll just run it back. Maybe I wanted Dismember for that crazy Cellarspawn. Like a Forest plus turn 1 Rhinos, sure. Opponent mulligans to 6. We'll keep. Buy you into Halfling. So do I force this Halfling? They're going to be able to play their dude unprotected. So I guess this is how we slow them down. Okay. Well, we're going to be doing some Rhino things on their end step. Thoughtseize. So I guess we can just do this now. Yeah, we don't want them to take Violent Outburst or any of my Simian Spirit Guides. So I do need a green source here. I guess I'll just get Tropical Island. No, I guess I'll just get Taiga, right? Why not? Because we're going to have the Hedge Maze. And then we can have a Violent Outburst. Our Cascade trigger is on the stack. And we can discard our Shardless Agent here. A Petty Theft is maybe not a terrible one to have. If I don't think I need Elvish Spirit Guide. But if they play that guy, then I have a chance to Petty Theft it. When they go to Nourishing Shoal, I could see that being good. They're doing stuff. Now I'm scared. Necrodominance. Okay, so it is a Necrodominance deck. So they get to Necro for a bunch here. They go down to 1. So do they get to Soul Spike me? A Nourishing Shoal. Well, that's pretty good. And then they just pass. And now they have to discard down to 5. Okay, so they discarded a bunch of stuff. Veil of Summer. Interesting to note. Another Spirit Guide. So I think I just have to petty theft the Necrodominance right now and see if they can redeploy it. Here's a Bayou. I'd say they're going to redeploy it. The good news is if they're just playing Necrodominance, they can only Necrodominance for 4 here, and we're kind of getting ahead. Well, they're drawing like less cards off the Necrodominance each turn. Cabal Ritual. Well, it's a little slightly concerning. The One Ring. Okay. Well, they're at a low life total, but this is going to keep them alive for a little bit here. An Uro. Yeah, I think we can just do Uro things here. Why not? If I can ever tap the mana correctly for this thing. Come on, Magic Online. I've got 3 mana and 1 Uro. You know what I'm doing. Well, here's a spot where I could not cast Murktide Regent, but playing the front side of Uro isn't nothing. So they're going to go down to 4 here and draw some cards. I guess if they hit another Nourishing Shoal, it's going to be good for them. Another The One Ring. All right, chaining them together, that's how you want to do it. So what I'd really like to draw here is like any kind of force effect. And if I could just break up the chain, that would be nice. They pass it on back. A Fire and Ice, okay. So I probably do want a Lorien Revealed here. And I think I'm just going to get the Volcanic Island as opposed to it comes into play tapped land. And we're going to look for an opportunity just to deal 2 points of damage to my opponent and win the game. Like maybe they Necrodominance down to 1 life. Or something like that. Or if they pass the turn with this the One Ring in play and don't draw any cards. Oh, here we go. I'm just going to shoot my shot here. And see if Fire is going to get the job done. Ah, well, there's a Soul Spike. That's going to keep them alive. Cool. So, yeah. My Rhino's poor Soul is spiked. They go to 4 here. An Underground Mortuary. They are using the power of the One Ring. A Delighted Halfling. Cool. All right. Well, they're going to need to chump block. And they're going to take 2 on their upkeep. And we have this Fire. So I guess we'll see what they've got. Puts them at 2. They must have some kind of plan to survive this, the One Ring activation. So maybe the trigger goes on the stack. They activate the One Ring in response to try to find the thing. And that is when I fire them. And hopefully the second fire gets the job done. All right, cool. We did it. Okay, so it's round 3. We're on the play, right? Yes, okay. And it's a mulligan. And this hand, I have to say, is good enough. So what am I going to put back? A Simian Spirit Guide? Probably. We have red mana from the Thundering Falls. I can't really put back my 1 counter spell. And the guide isn't that great with Fire and Ice anyway, and Fire and Ice is one we could conceivably cast and have be good on turn 2. More land. That's what we needed in round 1 that we did not find. All right, they are cracking that Delta. Okay. And it's a Ponder. An Ornithopter, so it's the old ninjas, it seems. Okay. So probably I'm just going to fire the Ornithopter. Using Wasteland. I could wait until their upkeep. Is this something they want to have like a force battle over? How many Spell Pierces does their deck play? How many Force of Negations do they play? Probably not too many of either. I think I'm just going to play the Wasteland and Fire here. All right, cool. That worked. Prismatic Vista and pass from the opponent. Okay. Well, this is continues to be a spot where the Uro is not bad. So if I use the Elvish Spirit Guide to crank out the Uro here, I can Wasteland them, which I don't hate. So maybe I'll get my basic forest. I have double red all lined up here. I think I'm just going to use the Spirit Guide. See, that could help me get the Uro coming back. But, I mean, I'm going to want to Wasteland them here. Cool, there's a Violent Outburst. That'll be good in the near future. Even if it gets countered, it puts 2 cards in the graveyard for Uro. And I'll just Wasteland their Underground Sea now. Their Brainstorm resolves. Okay, their Brainstorm resolves. Cracking that Vista. And they have a basic island. And they have an Ornithopter. And a Polluted Delta. Another Violent Outburst. Cool. Well, I'm going to Violent Outburst on their upkeep. And if they want to use mana to interact with this, hopefully it'll slow down their Ninja-ing. But yeah, we're going to get hit with ninjas, but we are doing Rhino things on our end, so. Alright, Crashing Footfalls is on the stack. Alright, they're burning a Force of Will on it. Cool. So that's in the graveyard, so we're just a mana shy from getting the Uro back. But they are going to ninjutsu out a guy here, but we do get to ram the Rhinos again next turn. Here's the ninjutsu. Yep, and it's the old Yuriko. They did hit a Force of Will, and it's a good one. Well, hopefully we draw a blue card. Another Violent Outburst. Well, I guess I'm just going to do this now. Do they have another blue card to pitch? They do. All right, we're going into their attack step. Do they have yet another ninjutsu boy? It looks like it. Okay, we faded the ninjutsu. They have a ponder. Here it is. Whoops, this is their revealed pile. Cool. Well, a blue card or a land would both be really great. And that is not something that lets me play the Uro. But we can at least Violent Outburst here. I guess I'll do it while they're cracking their Strand. That is all our Crashing Footfalls if you're keeping score at home. So the Rhinos are in. So we have a couple blockers for that Yuriko. Looks like it's going to be a petty theft, I would imagine, for one of our Rhinos. I guess maybe I should have waited for their upkeep. I wanted to take advantage of them being tapped out, but then they would have to be using this mana on their turn. So... okay, well, they don't attack with anything. So if I could just draw a land here, that would be great. Bingo. So let's summon the Mighty Uro. And we'll exile some cards. It doesn't matter. There's no endurances in my deck. An Elvish Spirit Guide. I kind of really don't want to get hit by this Yuriko. So do I want to, like, I think I just have to attack with a Rhino token. And we'll just take our chances here. That they don't kill my Uro. Okay, and they went ahead and conceded. I mean, if they do kill the Uro, I get to play the Uro again and keep drawing stuff, so definitely want Dismember. And then maybe like Mystical Dispute. Well, probably Mystical Dispute. I guess this is not really a Force of Negation matchup. So I don't know how many like Retrofitter Foundries people are playing these days. I think I'm just going to run it like this. Endurance can block Ornithopter. But yeah, I don't think I really want to remove anything. Like Fire is good against Changeling Outcast. And Endurance does not block that. And anyway, this hand has like Force of Will. And ways to make Rhinos happen. So, looks good to me. Okay, they're just going to do the old basic Swamp Pass. Okay, we have more Rhinos coming down the pipeline. So I'm probably just going to fetch a basic Forest and then get a Island off Lorien Revealed and start jamming. I know they play some hate of the on non-basic lands. I just have all kinds of Shardless Agents here. So do I just want to walk into their Consigned to Memory or whatever? I guess so. All right, let's just do it. We're just gonna keep on jamming till something gets through. Okay, well, it got through. Fatal Push. So these kind of trades are 1-for-1 removal on the Rhinos is A-okay. They will not win doing that as we crank out more and more Rhinos. So a land here would be really swell. A Simian Spirit Guide. Yeah, I guess that's good too. So maybe I'll Lorien Revealed here. And get a Volcanic Island. And then I'll use the Violent Outburst here, I think. Just because Shardless could maybe pitch to Force of Will. And maybe this Brazen Borrower is clutch. But you might as well keep the flexibility, I think, of the blue card. Okay, what do we got? An Orcish Bowmaster. Okay. Well, Orcish Bowmaster's not a great one against us. All right. And I would like force almost anything here. Yeah, I'll force back, and I will just pitch Brazen Borrower. If I get Wastelanded, maybe I'll wish I had the Petty Theft, but cool. Well, jamming Rhinos work there. All right, cool. We're going to be on the play for round 4. And, you know, this is a hand that plays Magic the Gathering, so I'm going to keep. So there's some question about whether we want the Thundering Falls or the Hedge Maze. Or maybe a basic forest is potentially an option. They're going to go ahead and crack and not worry about Stifle. Makes sense. And it's a Ponder, which doesn't reveal a whole lot. But I think that being the case, I probably will just go ahead and get the Hedge Maze. If we miss on the red source... Am I being silly? Okay, maybe I will just get the Violent Outburst, or sorry, the Thundering Falls to get us closer to Violent Outburst. Cool. That's what I like to see. Wooded Foothills is in. I guess maybe I could have thought harder about icing something in the opponent's upkeep. A Thoughtseize. So is this something I want to maybe force and protect my Violent Outburst? I think maybe it is something I want to do. A Tamiyo, okay. So one thing I could do here is Petty Theft the Tamiyo. I think that's fine. Like them getting clues probably isn't like great. Okay, so let's. I mean, the other option there is just to get a Hedge Maze. I don't know. I feel like Eco Baronin would maybe force to protect their Violent Outburst here. But if I just have Uro anyway... Okay. Well, I'm going to jam the main phase Shardless Agent here for sure. The way they're playing Tamiyo... It seems like they're not about to like do blue-black reanimator things. But I don't know. Maybe forcing that Thoughtseize was wrong. But you know, I've seen Eco Baronin do it in his video, and he's a good player. I don't know. A Baleful Strix. Okay. Cool. Well, this is some Magic the Gathering that we can win. A Wasteland. Well, that's going to be good against us. So that Petty Theft on the Tamiyo is looking really good now. Now I look like a genius. If I just let them Thoughtseize the Violent Outburst, I don't know. I guess Forest Fire would look good here, but we're kind of looking good anyway. I just need to draw a mana at some point. So they still take 9 here. We have 6 power in play. We're just a land away, and we can Petty Theft whatever's about to happen. I guess another Wasteland. It would be brutal. Yeah, there it is. Cool. It does mean they're not developing their board into something more scary, though. There's that Tamiyo again. Cool, I would still like to draw a land. All right, well, I'd still like to draw a land. Okay, that counts. Force of Negation. I want to draw more lands. Attacking into their 0-3 is not going to get me very far. Alright, so they play the Polluted Delta, attack with a Tamiyo. They get a clue. So they're going to flip their Tamiyo with a Brainstorm. They plus the Tamiyo, crack the Delta. And what's it? Another Baleful Strix. That's not a bad one. Cool. Well, I'd still like to draw land at this juncture of the game. Lorien Revealed. Okay. Well, that is a land. So do I want to petty theft something here? Like there, it probably is worth trying to petty theft the Tamiyo and not getting the, I guess the Thundering Falls has already gotten, so. Yeah, let's do this. Let's petty theft Tamiyo so they can slow their roll on that nonsense. Okay, they are gonna daze, cool. And I guess I will go ahead and take this trade with their Baleful Strix if they want to make it. And then we're gonna reload with Violent Outburst. Okay, they don't want to make that trade. Makes sense. Cool, they're gonna swing in with their Baleful Strix. Oh, is this a ninja deck? Cool, back-to-back ninjas. So they get in with Yurikawa. Cool, well, I would like to draw a land. They do uptick on Tamiyo. They have a land. An Uro. What do I want to do here? They haven't used any Force of Wills. So maybe I'm just going to play Uro here. I'd have to say that maybe this is a spot where Murktide Regent would be better. Another Violent Outburst. We're just not drawing lands. So I think I have to keep the Shardless Agent on chump block duty. They crack their clue to draw a card, okay? I mean, I guess to be fair, the opponent did Wasteland us twice. And so we, would have had 2 more lands. And so that's the way it goes. Orcish Bowmaster, cool. Plussing Tamiyo. I guess we're gonna lose this Tamiyo ultimatum, unless I draw something really good. They are at a low life total. I guess I was supposed to attack the Tamiyo last turn. Because now they can just draw their deck. Alright, well, probably just jamming Violent Outburst is my best chance to win. Because they'll have all the cards, but at least we can maybe have bodies in play. Yeah, so there's the Force of Will. So they get to plus Tamiyo on an empty board, and we'll be in a rough spot. Okay. I think we can just scoop it up. But we can run back the same sideboarding as before. Some Mystical Disputes and Dismembers. A Force of Negation out. Cool. All right. Well, we got some counter spells and answers for stuff. So this is cool with me. Guess I'll lead on the Misty Rainforest, which has the option of getting the basic island. We sure ate it to Wasteland last game. They're just gonna do nothing. Well, I think I'm gonna get my Hedge Maze. Simian Spirit Guide. It's not the best with my Uro. What I really want is more lands. So I think I will just bottom the Simian Spirit Guide. It doesn't really do anything in this spot. A Violent Outburst. Cool. A Brainstorm from the opponent. I just kind of clicked through it. I should have slowed down. It's a rough league, folks. We're doing the best we can. There are other things I'd like to hit with this Mystical Dispute, and end of turn brainstorms aren't the best. So I don't know what I would have done if I'd actually thought about it. The opponent puts a Kaito into the graveyard. What does that mean? They must be looking for enablers, I think is what it means. But now we're just looking for real mana sources. I suppose that counts as a real mana source. So I guess I'm just gonna get a tropical island here. If they have a Harbinger, we've got Dismember, or back to basics, we got covered as well with Mystical Dispute. A Tameo. I guess I'm gonna Mystical Dispute this thing. And unfortunately, they've hit their Wasteland. So it's a spot where Murktide Regent would be good. Unfortunately, we're just eating it to Wasteland. Our last Ninjas of opponent should have drawn more Wastelands. But are they actually going to let me have my mana? Wow. Cool. I guess I'll Violent Outburst on their upkeep. I don't know what they want their mana for. I guess they want to probably hard cast a ninja would be my guess. All right, so they're consigning here. So that'll chew up their turn. And this is just a 1-for-1 trade. So that's okay. There's the Wasteland. Well, maybe I'll draw land one time. I guess that technically counts. All right, Crashing Footfalls is back on the stack. And it's in. Cool, now we can force to protect it. And we have this Dismember. So they play like a Baleful Strix here. I'm probably forcing it. Ponder, I'm not forcing. Petty Theft. Do I want to force this? I think so. If this force resolves, we're just really far ahead. All right, cool. And then if I can just draw a land, we can at least get this Uro happening. But man, Murktide Regent would be a lot better. Cool. Ponder from the opponent. Chose to not shuffle. Okay. Fire and Ice, potentially not a terrible one. So they're going to probably What are they going to do? They're going to go for the throat. Cool. Yep, I just need to draw land. Here's a Tamiyo. So we can dismember that in their end step here. So we'll at least have that going on. And they have a brainstorm, so that's good news for them. Cool. So we paid 1 mana to lose 4 life. That was awesome. Oh, there's a Force of Will right on time. We're just not going to draw any more lands. I'd like them to play something that I can fire, I guess. Or I don't know. I'd like to draw a land. A Barrogoyf. Well, I guess we're forcing this one. And I guess I'm going to pitch ice. Ah, they're forcing back. Awesome. Cool. Well, maybe I'll draw a land this turn. I'm sure it's going to happen. Awesome. Well, I think this is it's maybe a wrap, folks. They've got their Tamiyo in play and another Brazen Borrower, and they get to attack us with this Barrogoyf. It's the old 10-point life swing. What do they hit from their graveyard? All right, so they get back Baleful Strix, and that's good enough for me. Okay. So this is a hand with missing action, but it does have double force, and both lands are surveil lands to find action. So I'm certainly happy to keep a hand like this. All right, it's the Polluted Delta start from the opponent here. Cool. Are they going to, like, entomb in my end step? I think I'm just going to have to hope that they don't. If they do entomb and reanimate, we do have, like, we can play around days and have double counter spells. So I'm going in with Hedge Maze is what I'm trying to say. A Brazen Borrower. So I am looking for action. We'll bottom the, or graveyard, the Brazen Borrower. Cool. There's an Undercity Sewers from the opponent. And they do not put in a Traxa or Archon of Cruelty in the graveyard, so they have kept, so I mean that's always slightly concerning. But ooh, a Lotus Petal, so we're up against Storm here. Well, maybe our double force hand will get the job done. Yeah, you can Thoughtseize and see my double force hand. Cool, they take Force of Negation and pass. Another Fire and Ice. So I could start icing them on the upkeep. I think I do just want to play the Thundering Falls. All right, there's a threat. So we can start doming them, applying the pressure next turn. So I guess the question, that we're thinking about, like, is this Doomsday or is this Storm? I guess probably Doomsday. I don't know how much like Storm main decks Thoughtseize. I think it's mostly Veil of Summer, but it's certainly not definitive at this point, but I would lean towards Doomsday. And if that's the case, well, they'll be under a lot of pressure when we put 10 power on the board next turn. So if they like brainstorm into Thoughtseize here, do we want to, and they take our Force of Will, do I want to like maybe shuffle away the Shardless Agent and look for more answers, or do I want to stick with the Shardless Agent and put pressure on the board is like the big question. Badlands. Okay, so this means it's more like This is probably just like ad nauseum storm, like people used to run back in the day. And with that in mind, I think I am just going to go ahead and shuffle here, because we need more Force of Wills. So I'll get a Tropical Island. So I am gonna probably ice the underground sewer, whatever this is, the Undercity sewer. Yes, we will go ahead and do that now. So that gets an upkeep Brainstorm out of them, which is certainly better than a main phase Brainstorm. What I'd like to do is survive the turn and then Lorien Revealed and maybe find some more force effects next turn. Well, there's at least an instant speed clock that we can play on our opponent's end step. So I could have maybe Spirit Guided iced again. If they start going for it and I need a Hail Mary, maybe I'll do that. Well, I guess I definitely would. But otherwise, I'm just going to try to reload with Lorien Revealed next turn. All right, they're cracking a polluted Delta here. And a Ponder. Cool. All right, they did choose to shuffle off that Ponder. They do only have 4 cards in hand. A Shardless Agent, yeah. So I think I just do need to fire off the Lorien Revealed here. So I'll get a Volcanic Island. And hopefully this at least puts the fear into our opponent that we've drawn Force of Will if we don't draw all force. All right, double force. See, that's what we were hoping for. That's what I call a reload. All right. All right, a Brainstorm from my opponent. I'm not going to force that one. The opponent's doing the old Infernal Tutor. I guess I'm not going to counter that one. I guess we'll see what they're revealing here. Thoughtseize. Okay. Well, double Thoughtseize is going to be good against what we have. But the good news is that they're going to have to Thoughtseize in order to go off. So we can do Rhino things here. This puts all the power on board. And then I do want to ice them in their upkeep. And then they'll have to use 2 Thoughtseizes in order to go off. I'm just trying to think about if it's worthwhile. Like, what are the chances they can Thoughtseize me twice and go off? I guess I just have to ice them. And take my chances with this. It's always possible I ice into like another counter spell. That'd be pretty nuts. Let's get a Tropical Island. We will ice. I guess I might as well ice the red source. Violent Outburst. Cool. Well, they're definitely dead if they Thoughtseize us twice here. And we get another turn. So there's the Thoughtseize. All right, they take Force of Negation. And here's another Thoughtseize. Taking Force of Will, I'm sure. And then, so is there 4 cards enough to go off with? Bloodstained Mire. Yeah, it's not looking good. They just need like Dark Ritual, Tutor. What is this? Cabal Ritual, yeah, that's pretty much the same kind of thing. Lion's Eye Diamond, yeah. Well, so maybe they have to go for Ad Nauseam instead of Past in Flames then here. And they're only at 10 life. So that's kind of why I wanted to hold up the fire. But then they would have extra mana. But I guess they only need to storm like a little bit more. So I think Past in Flames just does it here, right? Oh, they can just Infernal Tutor probably one more time. Or they can do it like this. Okay, well now they've gotten Cabal Ritual. So this is only 5 mana. Is there some secret way to win from here? Because now they have... I think they just blew it. Or am I silly? Infernal Tutor with 3 mana. Lion's Eye Diamond, okay. Yeah, 6 black, okay. All right, so it ends up being enough, cool. Nice, all right. Well, that's how you do it for sure. Well done, opponent. All right, cool. Okay. Well, so the good news post board is Endurance is really good because they're either trying to win with Ad Nauseam or do the Past in Flames thing with their graveyard, and we can effectively both pressure their life total and exile their graveyard or shuffle it in with Endurance. So it's probably not an Uro matchup. And then Fire and Ice, not that hot either. We only need to Crashing Footfalls once. And then this is like a blue card, so that's good. I mean, you could almost trim on Shardless Agents, but I guess if we have like a turn 1 Shardless Agent backed up by Force Magic, then, you know, that's good enough for me. So this hand has Force of Will and Wasteland and ways to get our Surveil lands. So I think that's fine. So I'm going to Misty Rainforest and pass it, and we'll be getting the Hedge Maze here, which sets up Endurance if we can draw it. The turn 1 Thoughtseize from the opponent. We take the Force of Will. So we will try to reload with the Hedge Maze. I do like my opponent's choice and basic land. Cool, Tropical Island, not what I'm looking for here. Lorien Revealed, okay. Yeah, so I'm just gonna ice my opponent on the upkeep. Here it is. Simian Spirit Guide. Well, we can cast Lorien Revealed next turn is good news. Opponent cracks a Delta, probably gets a basic island. They sure do. Here's a Ponder. A Shardless Agent. Yeah, I think I need to jam the Lorien Revealed here. So I'll get the Volcanic Island. We are just kind of looking for more counter magic here. Okay, well, we do have some counter magic and endurance. So those are both good things to have. Brainstorm from the opponent, and it's another Thoughtseize. So do they want to take Force of Negation or Endurance here? They take Shardless Agent. Interesting. So they must not be about to go off on their end, is what I think that would mean. Brazen Borrower. Okay. So I like the Brazen Borrower, so we can start pressuring our opponent's life total and hold up both Force of Negation and Endurance. I mean, maybe I should have just played the Wasteland there to prevent my opponent from making this very play. But I want to be able to get my own Thundering Falls. So, I don't know. All right, they are just passing. So I am going to take the opportunity to get the Thundering Falls. Another blue card is really what would be great here. But I want to know what it's going to be. And another Endurance. Okay. All right, so that's kind of why we did this, because now I can just play the first Endurance. And we can keep a Brazen Borrower as a card in hand to pitch to Force of Negation. And so we'll get them down to 11. And so I think that both Endurance and Force of Negation are very effective here. I guess I'll Wasteland them in the upkeep. Maybe it would have been better to like Wasteland them on my turn so that if they do Brainstorm upkeep, it doesn't build their storm count. So I could add more power to the board here. Is it worth playing Brazen Borrower and putting them on a 2-turn clock? And then, yeah, I think so, because they're going to need to like Thoughtseize or Duress Away. And then, yeah, I think this works, because I think that both Force of Negation and Endurance are basically hard counters. I wouldn't mind drawing a blue card, though. Cool. So at 5 life, they really can't Ad Nauseam here. So they really have to... I don't know, they really have to go for it one way or another. So we'll see. They did keep the card on top. Here's the Dark Ritual. Here's the Duress. So that does not answer the Endurance. But we don't have our... I guess what they could do is just chain a bunch of spells together. Here's Ponder. Okay, the opponent conceded. Like, the thing is, if I don't play the Brazen Borrower there, then we're not pressuring our opponent the same way. But having an extra blue card in hand in the situation where we top deck the Force of Will is obviously, like, crazily good. Because, yeah, we'd still have 2 counters up. But Endurance basically did its job. So, cool. Do I want to change anything here? I don't think so. I could maybe make Fire and Ice into Uros just because it's a green card also to pitch to Endurance. I mean, icing that swamp was maybe okay on the play. But now that we're on the draw, just need I don't think ice is going to be as important. So, yeah, I think that's fine. Maybe that'll garner like half a percentage point or something that we need to push us over the top. Okay, so this is like kind of a sketchy hand. It does have an Endurance, but we can't actually pitch cast it. And then Yeah, this hand is kind of a do-nothing hand. It's like 1 endurance and then 5 mana sources and a Brazen Borrower. So I think it's okay to mulligan. Well, this hand has Mystical Dispute at least. And a quick clock. I think it's kind of sucks, but I don't think mulliganing to 5 is where I want to be. So we'll get rid of the Brazen Borrower and hope that a fast clock is good. All right, it is a Bloodstained Mire pass from the opponent. Okay, so we can hold up the Wooded Foothills. We can either Mystical Dispute a cantrip or get a Hedge Maze. They get a Surveil land. All right, the opponent plays a Wishclaw Talisman, which is scary. It's not one I can Mystical Dispute. But I can go ahead and grab the Hedge Maze here. Here it is. It's a Hedge Maze. A Simian Spirit Guide, not what I'm looking for. It does not do anything to advance our position. Shardless Agent. Okay, well, that's a blue card. I think mostly here. So we do have hardcast Mystical Dispute with Elvish Spirit Guide here. Alternatively, we can just Violent Outburst in their end step. A Duress. See, what are the chances they... I think I need to Violent Outburst in response here. Because they're going to take the Mystical Dispute. Alternatively, I could Mystical Dispute this off a Spirit Guide. But I think what I need to do is get the Rhinos into play here and start pressuring the opponent's life total. And like hope to top deck something good. Alright, so we're in there with some Rhinos. The Violent Outburst makes them 5/4s until end of turn. Here comes the Duress, which I'm sure they'll snap off on Mystical Dispute. They sure do. Alright, the opponent goes into the tank for a bit, and they're playing Cabal Ritual, so that's probably not a good sign. An Infernal Tutor. So maybe like Dark Ritual. Oh, they have Lion's Eye Diamonds. Well, cool. That should make it easy enough for them to win, I think. So Lion's Eye Diamond, and then I imagine it's hard to lose, I think, of an Ad Nauseam from 19. So maybe that's probably the plan, right? So they pop off the Wishclaw. And what is the get? Looks like maybe it is Past in Flames. No, it's Ad Nauseam. Cool. So maybe, yeah, they'll brick really, really hard. They've got mana. Thoughtseize. So they, there's a payoff. So they need to hit a Lion's Eye Diamond here. Empty the Warrens. I don't think they have red mana, no. So they are at 2. And I don't think they can win with what they have. Oh, there's a Lotus Petal, though. Are they gonna... So I think they can make a lot of tokens here, but at 2 life, they're gonna have to block my Rhinos, and I get to play more. Maybe. All right. They certainly figured out a way to win before. Unfortunately, I boarded out my fires, so I could just like wish. If I do get a turn somehow, I could wish claw for fire and ice and just win that way. So the Infernal Tutor for Lotus Petal. Okay. So now they're brainstorming. They're playing the other Lotus Petal. They're duressing away my Lorien Revealed. And they're playing another duress. Well, they certainly have the storm count. It looks like the plan is to, in fact, to empty. So that's a pretty big empty of the Warrens, but they're going to have to block Rhino tokens. Okay. Oh, okay. So I guess it is enough. Man, I can't believe I boarded out the Fire and Ice. That has to be like the worst thing I've ever done. Dang. I mean, all my Fire and Ices are just in the sideboard, and they're at 2 life. That is so sad. I mean, I guess, yeah, I attack with some Rhinos. And they've got a block. Well, this maneuver is chewing up a bunch of clock, but I think it's going to be long enough for them to win. 5 seconds to untap and win. And then, yeah, I mean, I get to play my Shardless Agent here. Here it is. Play Crashing Footfalls. And pass into their turn here. Wow, they ran out of time. Okay. All right. Well, we did scrape out the 3 and 2, but you know, overall, that was a truly terrible league. I hope it wasn't too hard to watch. What with the streaming, it just got off to like a dubious start with that first match. I should have won. Just you haven't played against Bug Beans in a while. Of course, a terrible misclick. And then, man, that last game, I guess it's hard to predict that, you know, you might need some Fire and Ices. But yeah, all right. Well, anyway, yeah, so Uro was terrible. I mean, a nice grindy card can certainly win you the game, but 7 mana is just too much. So it was an interesting experiment. Uro is a card I've tried before and liked. Maybe like 3 is just too many, but in so many situations, just 2 mana to play a 7/7 flying boy would be nice. And so I guess this is the list I want to try for next week. 3 Simian Spirit Guides. I mean, maybe 4 would be better, but man, 4 is a lot. But I think the main deck Dismember is... I think Dismember is just a great card, and I hate Fury. Fury and Pyrokinesis are always letting me down, and Dismember is much better. So I could see doing 2 main deck Dismembers, and... I mean, Fire and Ice is like a cool card, but 4 is maybe kind of a lot. And, oh, my poor window. Okay. And this would free up an extra sideboard slot. And so, yeah, the Mindbreak traps. I do play against Storm a lot in these leagues. And then, like, Oops All Spells. This is at least a thing that does something. In some matchups, you just do want a lot of removal, like maybe Painter. So, I don't know, I could see doing this, or maybe going back to like a 3 Blood Moon sideboard, but I'm not mooning many people. And then you just don't always even draw it on the first turn anyway. So maybe 2 Blood Moons is perfectly reasonable. So anyway, I guess this is what I'm looking at here. Well, anyway, that was a ridiculous league. It did pull out the winning record, sort of. All right, thanks for watching. We're going to do better next week. There's always room for improvement. And, they can't all be winners. But just got to stick with it. At least the deck is reasonably positioned in the metagame, I think. And, it's good to be crashing into some footfalls here. Okay, all right. Thanks for watching. Bye.